Have you ever felt watched, not by your teacher, not by your boss, but by a green owl? Short name, cute face. But don't let those big round eyes fool you, because behind them lies a soft threat that millions obey. You skip one lesson, he'll remind you. Skip 2, he follows you. Skip 3, and he dances on your screen with a stare that says just one thing: you disappointed me. Duolingo isn't just a language app. It's not even just a company. It's a cultural force, a psychology experiment disguised as a game, an algorithm wrapped in bright colors and friendly sounds. This is not just a story about education. This is a story about behavior, about design, about the power of emotion, habit, and fear, all delivered through one quiet notification. Welcome to the world of Duolingo. Some apps are built to help you. Others are built to trap you. Duolingo did both. What started as a language learning app quickly became something else entirely. Today, it's a meme machine, a TikTok phenomenon, and a symbol of a new kind of education, one that doesn't ask politely, but reminds you aggressively. Because at the heart of Duolingo is not just language, it's a system designed to make you come back. Every day, without fail. It doesn't shout at you, it doesn't punish you. It simply shows you what you'll lose if you stop. Your streak, your gems, your progress, your pride. And that's not an accident. That's design. Behavioral science. Gamification. Duolingo understood something that schools forgot. People don't learn just because they want to. They learn because it feels good, or because it feels bad to stop. Every sound, every color, every notification. It's part of a carefully crafted loop of habit, reward, and emotional pressure. This isn't just about Spanish or French anymore. It's about your brain, your time, your attention, and the green owl who watches over it all. Duolingo didn't start with textbooks, didn't begin with classrooms or teachers. It began with a question. What if learning a language felt like playing a game, not a chore, not a task? A game, that's the secret. While schools were busy testing you, Duolingo was busy rewarding you. XP level ups, colorful streaks, badges, gems, animations. Just the right sound when you get something right, and a small sting when you don't. This isn't just cute design, it's behavioral engineering. It's science. Psychologists call it operant conditioning, a system where small rewards build habits over time. Every correct answer triggers a dopamine hit. Every daily streak makes you feel proud, and every mistake makes you want to try again. It's not because you love Spanish. It's because you hate breaking the streak. But that's the brilliance. You think you're learning for your future, but really, you're learning to avoid the feeling of loss. Even the owl plays a role. He cheers when you succeed. He frowns when you miss a day. He doesn't yell, but you still feel it. Duolingo turned education into a loop, a habit loop, a game you don't want to lose, a ritual you don't want to break. It made learning fun, but in doing so, it also made it addictive. And in a world full of distractions, maybe that's exactly what education needed. Or maybe it's something we should be worried about. Most mascots are harmless. A smiling tiger for cereal, dancing penguin for software. Safe, predictable, forgettable, but not Duo. Not the green owl. At first glance, he's friendly. Round eyes, tiny wings, simple lines. But somehow, it's more than just a logo. He feels alive. He shows up when you least expect it. In your dreams, on your feed, staring at you from a TikTok, accusing you, mocking you, dancing right after you skipped your lesson. Duo isn't just a character. He's a brand voice, a meme, a movement. And that's not an accident. It's strategy. Duolingo's social media team made a bold choice to give their mascot a personality, not a polite one, not a corporate one, but a chaotic, unhinged, unpredictable one. They made him self-aware, they made him weird, they made him funny, they made him viral. The result? Duolingo's TikTok engagement sits at over 21%, a number that most brands can only dream of. Their followers don't just watch, they interact, they wait, they share. Because the owl isn't just reminding them to study, he's entertaining them. He's threatening them. He's part of the internet's strange humor, and now part of internet culture itself. He's no longer a symbol of education. He's a symbol of pressure, of guilt, of discipline dressed as a joke. But maybe that's exactly why he works. He's not a teacher. He's not a friend. He's not even real. But somehow, we listen to him. Behind the bright colors and playful interface, beneath the memes and the dancing owl, there's something far more complex. A machine, a system, a brain made of code. Duolingo isn't just watching what you learn, it's watching how you learn. Where you hesitate, where you fail, where you give up. And slowly, it begins to adjust. Every tap you make, every mistake, every correct guess, it's all data. Data that Duolingo collects, analyzes, learns from. This is adaptive learning, an education that doesn't follow a path, but bends in curves around you. Some call it progress, others call it manipulation, because you're not just learning the content. The system is learning you. It uses machine learning to predict your weak points. It adjusts difficulty to keep you engaged. It spaces out repetition for maximum memory, calculates in real time how to keep you locked in the loop. Just enough challenge to keep you focused. Just enough success to keep you going. This is more than education. It's behavioral design. You think you're in control, but really Duolingo is steering you. Gently, quietly, constantly. It teaches like no human tutor ever could. Not with emotion. Not with intuition, but with data. It doesn't care about your mood. It doesn't forget where you left off. It doesn't get tired. And it never misses a beat. It learns, adapts, evolves. And the more it knows, the more it can keep you coming back. For one more lesson, one more streak, one more word. Before you sleep, Duolingo could have played it safe. They could have acted like every other education brand. Professional, respectful, predictable. But instead, they unleashed the owl. Not just in the app, on social media, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter, in your notifications, in your nightmares. And it worked. Because in a world drowning in content, bland gets ignored. But weird gets watched. Duolingo's marketing team made a bold decision. Let the brand act unhinged. Let the owl go rogue. Let him become part comedian, part villain, part cultural meme. He danced on your feet. He stared into your soul. He replied to celebrities. He joked about threats, turned education into entertainment, and people couldn't get enough. The results? Explosive. Duolingo's engagement numbers shattered the norms. While most brands dream of 3% interaction, Duolingo hits over 20% on TikTok. Not because they sell, but because they perform. Their posts don't look like ads. They look like content. Strange, funny, unsettling content. And that's the secret. They didn't try to control the algorithm. They became the algorithm. They rode trends instead of forcing them. They turned followers into fans, fans into creators, and creators into free advertising. This is no longer a marketing strategy, it's a cultural loop. The more bizarre the owl becomes, the more people engage. More people engage, the more the brand grows. The more the brand grows, the more chaotic the owl gets. It's a cycle. A feedback loop of attention, content, and chaos. Duolingo didn't go viral by chance. They engineered it. And now, they don't just own a language app, they own a piece of the internet's soul. For most apps, success is measured in downloads, in revenue, in retention rates. But for Duolingo, success began to look like something else. When war broke out in Ukraine, millions searched for a way to connect, to help, to understand, and quietly. Many of them opened Duolingo to learn a new language, to reach across a border, to offer solidarity, one word at a time. In that moment, Duolingo was no longer just a game, it was a bridge. A simple owl became a silent companion for refugees, for immigrants, for students in isolated towns, for children who couldn't afford private tutors. It became a tool, not of profit, but of possibility. They partnered with nonprofits, with global agencies, with educators fighting to preserve endangered languages. They launched the Duolingo English test, a cheaper alternative to traditional exams. opening doors, to universities for students who couldn't afford to prove themselves any other way. And all of it stemmed from one mission: to make education free, fun, and accessible. But like every great mission, there's a shadow. Because when your app reaches 100 million people, you don't just shape behavior, you shape belief, culture, identity, and that power to influence how the world learns, how it connects, how it sees itself, is no longer neutral. When an algorithm decides what you study, when a streak controls your motivation, when a cartoon owl becomes your daily moral compass, you begin to wonder, who's really in charge? Is this just a tool, or is it something more? Duolingo started as an app. It became a teacher, then a character. Now, it's a global movement. One that inspires, one that empowers, one that entertains, but also one that quietly rewrites how we think about knowledge, discipline, and control. We love to say we're disciplined. We wear our streaks like medals. 10 days, 100 days, 1,000. We whisper it like a prayer. I haven't missed a single day. But what if it's not discipline? What if it's something else? Because streaks don't just motivate, they haunt. You're tired, you're busy, you're sick. Doesn't matter. The number must live. You open the app. You tap through a lesson. Not because you want to, but because you're afraid. To break the chain, that's not education. That's gamification. Duolingo is built on it. Progress bars, level ups, XP boosts, leaderboards. These aren't lessons, they're triggers. Carefully designed hooks meant to keep you inside the loop. And like all good games, they reward you just enough to keep going. Not too hard to frustrate you, not too easy to bore you. Just enough friction, just enough freedom. Psychologists call it the variable reward loop, the same system used in casinos and slot machines and social media feeds. It's not evil, it's brilliant. But brilliance can be dangerous, because it disguises pressure as progress. It turns learning into routine, and routine into dependence. You might say, but I'm learning something useful. Yes, but at what cost? When your self-worth is tied to a streak, when failure feels like shame, when breaking the cycle feels like breaking yourself, something has shifted. Duolingo teaches more than just languages. It teaches consistency. It teaches perseverance, but also teaches obedience. And in a world addicted to performance, maybe that's the lesson we should question. Duolingo is free. That's what they promise. It's no cost, no classroom, no barrier. But free is never truly free. Because behind every free lesson, there's a price, and someone has to pay it. Duolingo runs on a freemium model. The app is free to use, but ads fill the gaps. Pop-ups, interruptions, moments designed to remind you. There's a paid version. There is a better version. It's called Duolingo Plus. No ads. Offline access. More features. Fewer distractions. And behind that paywall, a business. Duolingo earns hundreds of millions from subscriptions alone. Add to that the Duolingo English test, a low-cost alternative to traditional exams, now accepted by over 4,000 institutions worldwide. It's smart, scalable, and it's profitable. But it raises a question. Can you build a mission-driven platform and still chase profit? Can you promise open education for all and still depend on ads and upgrades and subscriptions? What happens when user engagement becomes a key performance indicator? What happens when streaks and gamification aren't just for learning, but for retention, conversion, revenue? Even the beloved green owl, even the streak you're afraid to break becomes a tool for business. It's not manipulation, it's strategy. And in many ways it works. It funds innovation. It scales education. It pays the engineers, the designers, the AI researchers behind the screen. But it also shifts the question from how do we help people learn to how do we keep them here longer? Duolingo walks a fine line between mission and monetization, between impact and income. And maybe that's the reality of modern education. To stay free, someone has to pay. Education used to be human. It happened in classrooms, between teacher and student with chalk, paper, and eye contact. But now, it happens in silence, in swipes, in streaks, in algorithms. We wake up, check our phones, the green owl stares, we learn. Not because someone asked us to, but because a system nudged us, quietly, persistently, invisibly. This is the new classroom, and the teacher is code. Duolingo isn't alone. Across the world, AI and algorithms are rewriting how we learn, what we learn, when we learn. It's faster, it's smarter, it's scalable. But it comes with questions, deep ethical ones. When an app chooses your next lesson, who decides what matters? When a system adapts to your weaknesses, is it helping you grow or just keeping you inside the loop? And when the difference between success and failure is one missed day, one broken streak, what does that teach us about rest, about patience, about the human pace of learning? We are entering an era where education is personalized, optimized, and gamified. But we must ask, at what cost? Do we risk turning knowledge into currency? Learning into metrics? Discipline into addiction? Duolingo has changed the world. It has taught millions. It has opened doors. It has made education playful, affordable, global. But as it grows, as its influence spreads, we must look deeper, not just at what it teaches, but how. Because the future of learning won't be shaped by books. It will be shaped by systems, by data, by invisible hands. And we must decide whether we want to follow those hands blindly or learn how to see them. We live in a world where apps don't just entertain us, they shape us. Where education no longer happens in silence, but in streaks, screens, and algorithms. And in the middle of it all, a green owl, watching, guiding, reminding us to keep going. But maybe it's time we ask ourselves, what kind of learners are we becoming? Are we growing or just gamifying? Because learning should never feel like a trap. It should feel like freedom. If this story made you think, it made you see the apps on your phone a little differently, then maybe it's time we rethink what it means to learn in the modern world. Thank you for watching. And before you go, hit like if the owl ever scared you. Subscribe if you believe education deserves better design, and share this with someone who hasn't opened Duolingo today. Because remember, you might forget your Spanish lesson, but Duo never forgets you.